Welcome to the Inner Athlete Podcast, where we discuss all things youth athlete development and youth mentoring. Welcome back to the Inner Athlete Podcast. We've got a special guest here today, one of our longest serving members. We've got Noah Lynn here, soccer phenom in the making. Noah's been with us, it'll be end of July, will be 2 years since he's been here. So I've had to deal with some of his shit, which has been, it's been interesting. No, he's been a great member here. I know a lot of the members have gotten to know him and the coaches as well. He's seen the whole place grow, and we've seen him grow as a player as well. And yeah, just want to tell us a little bit more about yourself and what sport you play, and we'll go from there.
So I'm a 16-year-old year 11 student, and always grown up playing soccer since I was young. And then I came here probably about 2 years ago, just with the dealing of injuries, recurring over and over again. And it was getting to the point where it was obviously limiting my game and affecting it as well. So I just wanted to do something about it. And then my mum heard about this, I think it was over Facebook or something, and came in for an interview, and then really enjoyed it. So we started here, and then it's 2 years now, and we're where we are today, playing under 18 MPL. So
yeah, no, you've done phenomenally well. I think you've had. What was it, the first injuries that you had when you came in?
So I think the first injury would have been, I think I had a knee injury. I think I hyperextended my knee probably about 1 year before I came in here, and it was just ongoing issue and really heal. And then I just had over and over knocks, whether that be, I don't know, knee, leg problems, something like that. And then I also had a ankle injury. It was it wasn't really an injury, it was more something I was born with. I can't remember what it was called, but it was something where the bone at the back of my heel, whenever I extended it, would clash with the heel bone, something like that. And obviously it would be painful and stuff. So I ended up getting surgery with that last year, at the start of the year, I think. And that obviously was a problem before that. But yeah, it was just and it was just like the muscle injuries, I guess, as well, coming with it. Like during my junior years, it wasn't really like digged into about sort of, the strength and conditioning part of it. It was more just playing. So obviously when that catches up and you start, growing, you get all these things coming with it. If you're not stretching, if you're not conditioning, if you're not, strengthening up your muscles, everything comes along with it, with injuries. So that sort of is why I started here. And then since then, it's been ups and downs, but the last couple of months, I'd say it's been pretty up.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty happy lately.
Because when you first started, you had a whole host of things going on. And then I think when we first assessed you, you had a few compensation strategies as well. Then the other thing is also, I think I was around the lockdowns as well. Things like
yeah. I think my first session, I came in here for one session and went into a lockdown. It's like, oh, are you kidding?
It was a bit of a shit show, but you had a home gym at the time.
Yeah.
But then we started working on your diet at the same time as well.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
So we basically just got you eating like a horse, essentially, and you're on the chocolate milk diet, essentially.
Eating a bit more.
Yeah, even on even though on the protein powders as well, just to bring up your size, because you definitely were a lot lighter, and I think you you told me when we first spoke that you were kind of getting bodied off the ball because you're playing some bigger dudes at the time.
I wasn't the biggest at the time, so my strength wasn't probably the greatest, as I was obviously a bit smaller. But yeah, we sort of upped my calorie intake a bit, while obviously doing home gym. Would have been better if it was in here, but we made do. And then when obviously it ended and we came back into here, it was a lot better.
Yeah, and then I think as you started to get more game time, you obviously were able to stay on the field a lot longer, but then you also started to get reached out by a few clubs as well, and they started to kind of like, so yeah, I can, this club's got interest in me, or whatever happened at your previous clubs, that you were able to kind of like move around and kind of move into better positions moving forward.
Yeah, so I had a year where I wasn't obviously enjoying my football that much. I was sort of playing out of position a little bit, and I just wasn't enjoying it as much as I could have and wanted to. And then obviously the chance came to move somewhere else where I was in a position where I wanted to play. Game time was good, so I ended up there. But obviously I had a few injuries along the way with that. I had my ankle surgery at the start of last year, and then I had a back injury probably mid-year last year that was probably ongoing for about a month or two. So it was a bit of a struggle year with injury wise for the first half, I'd say. Obviously with that ankle surgery and then the back, and then after that, after being out for a fair bit, you get a couple of knocks, little niggles and stuff like that. So that was quite frustrating. And then during pre-season last year, I really really dug into it because I didn't want the same year.
Yeah.
So I really dug into my pre-season, and then came back this year with Dandy City now, and so far I've been, I haven't touched wood. I haven't had any major injuries. That's kept me out like last year or the years before. And sort of just right now maintaining the body, keeping it in good shape. But yeah, apart from that, it's pretty good.
Yeah. How do you? I guess because you're in year 11 now, your study load's increased. How do you manage your study load? Keeping your grades up and to coming in here, then going to practice. How do you and recovery as well? How do you kind of like balance that all out?
Yeah, last term, sorry, was exams. So that was quite a busy, I'd say, term. Obviously with studying wise, and then soccer training and games, and then coming in here, recovery. It was quite, it was times where it was quite annoying because you had to study and then you had to get recovery. So it was a few late nights, a few early mornings. But yeah, it's just obviously obviously I want to get good scores in school. That's the main goal. So studying was number one. I had to make sure I get that down pat. And then, as soon as I got that done, it would be, straight into recovery if I was sore from the night before training, or straight in here for a session, or straight to training, soccer training. So, it was more just sort of trying to get everything in, and then still be, have time to do other stuff after it. So, yeah.
Yeah, did you have to like a better manage your time, or did you have to be a bit more like, what's the word, more prepared for the day or for the week?
Yeah, I'd say it was more prepared, and it was go go go. Like the day before, you would prepare everything. So breakfast. I have a routine where I just make everything before the morning that's coming up, breakfast. So I don't have to spend time doing that. I can spend that extra 20 minutes doing something else, and maybe 15-minute hot bath or something like that in the morning. And then after school, it's, go, go, go. I didn't really have last term much, time to, I don't know, sit and chill, watching YouTube or something like that. It was more just like, as soon as I finished studying, it was straight into stretching and, rolling out, and then it would be straight to training, or it would be, straight after studying, I'd come in here, and then I'd get home, I'd eat, I'd have a bath, and then I'd go to bed. So it was pretty, busy schedule, but now we made it work, and yeah, now I've got a term where no exams, but obviously still got to study. So yeah, make the most of it, especially these holidays.
Yeah, and now you've kind of, I guess, seen an increase in your training load.
Yeah.
Because obviously there's no school except for a little bit of homework you may have to do.
Yeah.
Then as you go back to school, and then you'll probably see a decrease in just a little bit of your training volume.
Yeah, there will. So obviously with the 2 weeks off school, it's really good to make the most of being in the gym and then training and recovery. So every morning I've been in here doing a bit of recovery, whether that be active, on the bike, or a bit of a flow session or something like that. And then I would come home, do a bit of recovery, and then do some schoolwork if I need to. And I've got training in the evening today. But yeah, it's holidays is really good for an athlete to be able to manage everything from recovery to training. So yeah,
because it sounds like that a lot of the actions that you're doing is leading to something bigger. So what is that goal for you that you want to get into?
Yeah, so obviously, like any kid that plays soccer, obviously I want to play it for life, so play it professionally. But obviously right now the deal is just to obviously play my best for the end of this year. Still got half the season to go, so that's my main priority, is to finish this year on a high, and then next year, hopefully 21s. That's the goal, to play on the 21s, and then obviously that will be my last year at school. And after that, either senior NPL football, hopefully, or even college soccer overseas in America. I've started to look at that recently. But yeah, there's still plenty of time. But yeah, my main goal this year is just to finish it strong, finish it on a high, and yeah.
No, it's good. I think with my time over the US, things have changed now since Messi got has part ownership into Miami. There's been a massive boom in the soccer world over in the US,
Yeah, the
in North
audience has
America.
grown a little bit. Yeah,
And then they got the Soccer World Cup as well. I think it's between Canada, Mexico, and the United States, which is interesting in itself, and we won't talk about that.
Yeah, but no, I saw a post this morning on my Instagram when I was just scrolling through. It was like some game between two American MLS teams. It was like 80,000 attendance or something like that.
Wow.
A game over there. I'm just thinking.
This is like regular season as well.
Yeah, this is regular season. I'm just thinking like the A-League. I'm like, when do you ever get 80,000 to rock up just to a normal fixture game?
Not even at the final. You might get like 40,000, 50,000.
I was like, far out. It's definitely growing over there.
Yeah, I think it's probably a good lesson that there is more pathways than just going down the Euro League or to EPL into those like academies and camps and whatnot. Especially from people I've been speaking to, they say there's a lot more opportunities overseas, and that's probably where a lot of Aussies will go. In terms of the grassroots programs, it's definitely improving, and obviously you're a testament to that you've seen some growth in it. But there's obviously, what are some things that you would like to see in the you've gone through, I guess, the grassroots program for, I don't know, X amount of years now. What are some of the things that you wish you would have had then that you know about now?
I'd say the sort of like body aspect, like the conditioning, the strength, the recovery. I feel like that, like when I was sort of growing up in juniors, whether that be like under 12s, 13s, 14s, I feel like that was missed out upon a lot. It wasn't really like, wasn't really dug into, or like, or boys have a stretch, roll out, before training. Like in juniors, it was more just like you get to training like 10 minutes before it started, and then you get into training, and then after it, you just, you go home, do whatever. It wasn't really like, beforehand, you'd have a good stretch, you'd have a good rollout, obviously we do a warm up of some sorts, but like, beforehand, the stretching, rolling out, no one really talked about it, no one really said anything about it. And then even afterwards, the recovery, after a game, have a 15-minute ice bath or something like that. No one talked about it.
There's no education around it.
Yeah, there wasn't really any education about it. So I feel like that led to why I got a few injuries, in the 14s, under 15s, stuff like that. So I feel like if that was sort of, dug into a bit more and sort of, taught, people learned about it in juniors, it would be definitely a lot beneficial.
Yeah, and especially during those ages of 13, 14, 15, you tend to see like your friends start to shoot up in size and height. And,
especially in juniors is like under 14s, under 15s. That's where you start, or even 13s. That's where you start for boys, going through puberty, you start growing, stuff like that. And that's, I think I started shooting up probably about, it was after a lockdown. I think it was after the first lockdown, or not the first one, but the one after I came here for my first session. I shooted up a little bit during that lockdown. I came back, and sort of everyone sort of realised that it shot up a bit and changed a little bit. But yeah, I think that's also like after puberty and going through it, that can also be a cause to why you get some injuries if you're not doing the strength conditioning, the rolling out, the stretching, especially when your body's growing and stuff. So
yeah, and in terms of the team that you're with now at Dandy City, how do you think they're kind of developing you as a player? Well, what are the things that they're doing really well as a club in terms of fostering your development?
Yeah, so with my time at Dandy City so far, I've really enjoyed it. The coaching, I've got a coach now that I really enjoy, being with. He's a really good coach. I'm playing, a position that I really like. I feel like I'm playing quite well in. The club, is, it's like, I don't know how to put it into words, but it's just about soccer. Like, it's just about football. It's not about anything else. So if you're playing good, you're playing good. You get game time, you get game time.
Mm.
The trainings are really beneficial towards games and stuff. Where I've had teams in the past where some things we did were they weren't really beneficial to the game. But so far at Danny City, it's been really beneficial. Every training has a purpose.
Yeah, is it like they kind of review the game, make some notes, and put in some structures for next time?
Yeah, definitely. So reviewing the games, I think a big thing. Like obviously the coaches and the players, we look at the videos and the games, and we see the mistakes that we've made. We see the good things that we've done, and then obviously and then we look at the team that we're versing, upcoming. We look at how they play, what we can do to, obviously win. That's what we want. We want to win. So we look at, how we can benefit against them, and then we look at how we can benefit from the past, whether that be from the weekend or something like that, where we've made a mistake that we can learn from, and then implement into drills and training and stuff like that. So.
And how's that been for your learning of the game compared to being at different clubs?
Yeah, so obviously at different club like juniors, I played midfield for a good 3/4 of my time in juniors, where I was at Bentley Greens, and then I had a year where I played more defensive. That was a year where I really didn't enjoy my football that much, and then I had a Spanish coach for that year, and I'd say it was beneficial. Like the learning wise was really good. Obviously, having someone from overseas, like a country like Spain, with their football, we learnt a lot from him, technical wise, and then obviously I left Bentley Greens, and Dandy, and then sort of this year, I've been playing sort of that 8 role in midfield, which I've really enjoyed, and yeah, like right now. The coach, we have a few things where it's just drilled into us, where he wants us to play a few different types of ways. But yeah, it's been really beneficial with the coach I have now. Really enjoy it. Like I have a lot of freedom in that midfield role, and yeah, it's just like really enjoying it.
Cool. And how's your training been here? Because now you're in the thick of mid-season at the moment. What's your training like at the moment? What's your current training schedule? What are you doing in here under the guise of Coach Matt?
Yeah. So obviously I have Matt as my coach right now, making my plans. So obviously I have training for soccer. I have it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then dependent on the weekend, I'll either have a game on Saturday, Sunday, or both. And then, so obviously, being with that much soccer, it's more maintaining my body right now in season. Because obviously, with this amount of soccer I have, I can't afford to be sore.
So let's put that into perspective, because some people may not be like, oh yeah, 4 sessions of soccer a week. So that your training sessions are what, 90 minutes long?
Yeah, probably about 90 to 2 hours. Yeah.
Okay, we'll call it on the lighter side, because so you got 90. So that's 4 hours or 4.5 hours of training a week minimum to 6 hours depending on the week.
Yeah.
Then you also have game time as well. So game time could be you're playing 3/4 to a full match at this rate.
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
And then some weeks you're doing a double header.
Yeah, we had a double header last week. Thankfully, there's not too many of them. But yeah, we had a double header last week, so that was 180 minutes.
Yeah, so then you add that on top. So what, 100, 6, 12, 80. So that's 3 hours, right? So you got 4.5 hours of training. Then you got 3 hours of actual game time. But then you also have your warm-ups as well associated with that. So you could add in another hour, half hour per game as well. So that's a lot. There's a lot of I guess training and playing volume as well, and especially with the game, you have spikes in intensity at training sessions. Sometimes they might be a bit more intense as well, because it might be you want to install a certain structure or play or scheme system as well. And then you also got the gym stuff. So how many times a week are you coming in doing gym work?
So during school, it's probably about 3, just because obviously I have school throughout the day. So I try to come on my off days here, that being like Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. But with obviously holidays now, I'm in here every day. So that's what I'm doing right now, yeah.
Yeah, then with your gym work, so you do like what, 2 main heavy days?
Yeah, so I have right now it's about 2 main heavy days, just because obviously I've got to time it and space out where I'm not sore the next day or I'm not sore for soccer whenever I have it.
It's not interfering with your ability to train well.
Exactly. So yeah, right now it's about 2 main heavy days, and then throughout the week I'll have obviously a few active recovery sessions, a few flow sessions, a few primers, just to get me good for obviously trainings. But yeah, it's what it is right now.
Yeah, we're good. So on top of that, so you mentioned that you do 2 heavy days, then you do like some flow sessions. So those flow sessions, what are they really designed for?
So the flow sessions that I'm doing are more designed to get the body sort of lightly moving, the blood circulating. Obviously get some like healing to the muscles. And that's I normally do them after on a Monday after I have a game, or throughout the week if I have a hard session at training, I'll come in the next day, just to get feeling good. Like today I'm in here after this for a flow session. But yeah, they're more designed just to get the body sort of moving, the muscles moving, the blood pumping, without sort of a lot of stress on the muscles. And then obviously I do my primers the day before a game or something like that, where it will sort of be short, sharp, sort of intense stuff on the muscles, just to sort of get them ready for the game, but not fatigue them, I guess.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, so with your flow in like active recovery sessions, designed to get you more mobile, promote some blood flow to the area, promote the healing, essentially, and reduce muscle soreness. So then you can go back and train the next day.
Yeah.
Then your primers are basically designed to just get the nervous system firing, feeling fast and twitchy.
Yeah.
And how do you find the primers? Because I think, from my perspective, I was introduced to 2017 to this idea of training beforehand, and now I think it's more mainstream than ever before now, which is really cool.
Yeah.
How do you find them, like doing them the morning of, or if not the day before of?
Yeah, I find them. Obviously, I haven't really done much of it before, but I find it quite beneficial. To do it the day before a game. Like obviously within the 24 hours before a game, but yeah, mostly the day before a game. I find it very beneficial. I feel like the next day, the muscles are quite ready to go. Like they're wanting to ready to go. Like not tired, I guess, or not ready, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because I think in the past it sounds like you would have had like you get the advice, rest the day before, let the body relax and chill out.
That was exactly what it was.
And how did you feel the day after that? I guess that off day.
As in, like before I did a primer, or
so say for example, before we introduced the whole idea of primers, right? How did the normal advice would be: if you train Friday, you play Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Saturday's your rest day.
Yeah.
How did you feel having a rest day before we introduced you to the idea of the priming sessions or the active potentiation sessions?
If I can, like, obviously it's been a while since I haven't done a primer before, but if I can remember, I think it was like, I think I'd feel quite, not tired, but like some days I'd feel not, the muscles weren't 100% ready, if that makes sense.
Do you feel like a bit sluggish?
Yeah, I'd say I'd feel like a bit, a little bit sluggish before you started doing your warm up, and the intensity, got up. But yeah, I feel like now after doing it, I can see a big difference.
Yeah.
And obviously feel a big difference. But yeah, I feel like before I started doing them, that off day probably like wasn't beneficial as much as doing a primer on your off day now. But yeah,
because it's nowhere near as taxing as doing a like a normal session.
Yeah.
it kind of gets you feeling light and loose, and almost like building confidence into the next day as well. That my body's feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
You feel like you're gonna eat better. You feel like you're gonna sleep better, and I think it's like less stress. If you move slow, more likely you're gonna feel slow.
Yeah.
If you move quick and fast, you're gonna feel quick and fast.
Yeah.
Then actually the science behind it is like the nervous system has like this effect, right? So if you do a potentiation session and then it's quite high and intense, it's executed really well, that effect can last up to like 48 hours. So that the nervous system like firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
So that's why we introduce it to, whether it's like the footy players, soccer players, even like our swimmers that have meets on or something like that. I think it's probably one of the easiest ways to get someone a bit more jazzed up, or not jazzed up essentially, but like the body just firing on all cylinders the day before. And then, we've seen just positive effects across all sports really.
Yeah.
And then even like track and field, their sport's very specific, but they actually do some sort of sprint work the day before because they want to feel light and loose throughout the meet. Then after the meet, they'll kind of just chill out and relax.
Yeah. It's I've definitely seen like a big, change and benefit in doing the primers the day before, and obviously feeling it. So I'm quite happy I learned about it.
Yeah, that's good because then you can carry that wherever you go now as well. So I think that's the beauty part. You spoke about you want to go overseas or play top level here in Australia as well.
Yeah.
What do you think you need to do moving forward in order to get into that next step?
So moving forward, I think obviously you're at the stage where you start versing bigger people, bigger boys. So I think more just about sort of not getting big, but getting stronger, if that makes sense. To be able to, deal with the physicality and the stuff that comes with when you start versing older guys, like, 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds, seniors. So I think obviously that, and then more just the consistency. Obviously, not, trying to, playing every game, keeping the body, in good condition, and then obviously, playing well in general. So that's what's going to get you to the top level is you're playing well, you're a good player. So I think just staying consistent, and obviously, still learning, and just playing well. So
good. Yeah. I think it's a simple recipe for success, really.
Yeah, exactly.
It's good. Anything else that you want to briefly touch on before we wrap up?
No, I think that's about it.
No, it's good. This is going to be a cool watch this space, and hopefully Noah makes it to the next level in the next year and a half that he has with his high school. And hopefully see you in the US or see you in Europe or something like that on the TV, mate, the big screen. If you like this podcast, please like and subscribe. It really does help us out. We really want to spread the message of youth athlete development, youth mentoring, something that's really important to us. And it's been a privilege to be able to, I guess, coach and mentor Noah over the last almost 2 years since when we record this. It's great to see his growth and development, his, I guess, maturity as well. It's been a big thing for him. But until then, I'll see you on the next one.
You have just listened to the Inner Athlete Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date with the release of weekly episodes. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram to get great tips on all things youth athlete development and youth mentoring.